All right, let's get real for a second. Picture this. You're chilling, maybe scrolling through TikToks of cats playing pianos, and then bam. You notice it. Your dog, the one who usually greets you with the enthusiasm of 1,000 suns, is just off. Or your cat, normally a purring ninja of stealth and grace, is looking more like a disoriented fluff ball. That feeling, that immediate ice-cold dread that slides down your spine, yeah, that's the universal, oh no, not my fur baby, moment. It's that instant where your world kind of tilts and all you can think about is what could possibly be wrong with your little companion, your shadow, your four-legged therapist. It's a special kind of awful, isn't it? And just when your heart is doing gymnastics, your brain, ever the party pooper, chimes in with its own delightful follow-up. Okay, deep breaths, but also, how much is this little adventure going to cost me? Suddenly, the image of your adorable pet looking slightly pathetic is now sharing brain space with flashing dollar signs. It's like a terrible BOGO deal. Buy one emotional crisis, get a financial panic absolutely free. You're trying to be the calm, collected pet parent, the one who knows exactly what to do, but inside, you're already mentally calculating which organs you can sell on the black market. It's a tough spot, a really tough spot, and if you've been there, you know it's not just about the money. It's about the added stress when you're already worried sick. Now, if you think this is some rare, once-in-a-blue-moon scenario, I've got some news for you. Brace yourself. Statistically speaking, about 1 in every 3 pets will need some kind of emergency veterinary treatment each and every year. 1 in 3. That's not a maybe someday kind of number. That's a good chance it's going to happen kind of number. Think about all the pets on your Instagram feed. Yeah, a chunk of them are probably going to give their humans that heart-stopping scare this year. It's the unfortunate reality of loving these amazing creatures. They get sick, they have accidents, they eat things they absolutely, positively shouldn't. It's part of the deal, a very expensive, very worrying part of the deal. This brings us to the core dilemma, the big old elephant in the room, or rather, the very expensive golden retriever in the vet's office. We all want to scream, take my money, and do whatever it takes to make our pets healthy and happy again. We'd fight a bear for them, probably. But fighting a multi-$1,000 vet bill, that's a different kind of beast, especially when it sucker punches you out of nowhere. This financial fear can lead to some incredibly difficult decisions, choices no pet owner ever wants to make. We're talking about having to weigh the cost of treatment against the unthinkable. And that's a heavy burden for anyone to carry around. So you're thinking, okay, I get it. Vet bills are scary. There must be a solution, right? What about pet insurance? And boom, you've stumbled upon the very thing that's supposed to be the superhero cape in this scenario, pet insurance. It's marketed as this amazing shield, ready to protect your finances and ensure your furry overlord gets the best care. But then you actually try to look into it, and suddenly, you're not feeling so super. In fact, you might feel like you've just been handed the instruction manual for assembling a nuclear reactor, written entirely in ancient hieroglyphics. It's a whole new level of confusing, isn't it? Let's be honest, the terminology alone is enough to make your brain want to take a long nap. Annual deductible, reimbursement percentage, copay, pre-existing conditions, waiting periods, bilateral exclusions. What in the actual fluff is all that? It feels like they invented a secret code just to keep us regular folks out. You're just trying to make sure your cat, Sir Reginald Fluffington III, can get his asthma treated without you having to remortgage your house, and instead you're drowning in a sea of jargon that sounds more complicated than your last tax return. It's like, can I just get a plan that says, if pet sick, we help pay? Apparently that's too much to ask. This cloud of confusion, this fog of financial bewilderment, it has real consequences, folks. Some people get so overwhelmed they just throw their hands up and say, forget it, I'll risk it. They decide to wing it, hoping their pet has an iron stomach and the acrobatic skills of a Cirque du Soleil performer to avoid any and all mishaps. Spoiler, that's a gamble, a really big one. Others, bless their hearts, do try. They pick a plan, thinking they've done the responsible thing, only to find out when disaster strikes that the policy they chose has more holes in it than a block of Swiss cheese. The coverage isn't what they thought, and they're left holding the bag and a hefty vet bill. And here's the kicker. It's not your fault. You're not dumb for finding this stuff confusing. It is confusing. Sometimes it feels intentionally so. Imagine trying to pick a new streaming service, but instead of just choosing between Netflix and Hulu, you have to first get a degree in contract law. That's pet insurance for a lot of people. The industry could definitely do with a pet insurance for dummies guide, or maybe just simpler language. Because when you're already stressed about your pet, the last thing you need is to feel like you need a PhD to understand how to help them. You just want peace of mind, not a migraine. But hold up, don't despair. Don't let the jargon monsters win. That's why we're here today on Insure Savvy. Think of me as your friendly neighborhood insurance mythbuster, your guide through this confusing maze. We're going to take that tangled mess of pet insurance information, smooth it all out, and make it make sense. Seriously, my goal today is to arm you with the knowledge you need to cut through all that dense, confusing language like a hot knife through butter. Or, like a vet expertly removing a sock from a Labrador's stomach. Too soon? Probably. But you get the idea, clarity is coming. So, what's on the agenda for this grand demystification tour? First, we're going to roll up our sleeves and dive deep into how pet insurance actually works. Not the glossy brochure version, but the nuts and bolts. We'll break down all those scary-sounding terms, premium, deductible, reimbursement, annual limits into plain, simple English. With examples, real-life ones, so you can see exactly how these pieces fit together to affect what you pay and what you get covered. We're going to expose the engine under the hood, so you know what you're really dealing with before you even think about signing on any dotted lines. Once we've cracked the code on the how it works part, we're going to explore the different types of pet insurance plans out there. Because, oh yeah, there's more than one flavor. We're talking accident-only plans, the more comprehensive accident and illness plans, and those wellness add-ons you might have heard about. We'll look at what each one typically covers, what it doesn't cover, and who might benefit most from each type. Think of it as a tasting menu for insurance options, helping you figure out which dish best suits your pet's needs and your appetite for risk. No more guessing games, just informed choices. And finally, the moment you've probably been waiting for, we're going to take a good hard look at some of the top pet insurance providers making waves in 2025. We'll peek at what they offer, what makes them stand out, and what real customers are saying. The goal here isn't to tell you this one is the best, because the best is super personal. Instead, we'll give you the insights and tools to compare them effectively. By the end of this, you'll be equipped to navigate the pet insurance landscape like a seasoned pro, ready to pick a plan that actually protects your furry friend and your hard-earned cash. Sound good? Let's do this. All right, Team Insure Savvy, let's kick things off with the absolute cornerstone of any pet insurance plan, the premium. Think of it like this. Pet insurance is basically a financial bodyguard for your fur missile. And the premium? That's the monthly or annual fee you pay to keep that bodyguard on retainer, ready to jump in when things get hairy. Pun absolutely intended. It's your subscription to a little more peace of mind, knowing that if disaster strikes, you're not facing those colossal vet bills all by your lonesome. This regular payment keeps your policy active, keeps the protection in place, and honestly, it's the first number everyone wants to know. So what actually goes into cooking up that premium price tag? Let's investigate. Now, insurance companies aren't just pulling these premium numbers out of a hat, or say, a beret if they're feeling fancy. Oh no, there's a whole bunch of factors that go into this calculation, and it's pretty specific to your little critter. First up, your pet's age. Generally, older pets are pricier to insure because, just like us humans, they tend to have more health issues as they get up there in years. Puppies and kittens, they might actually get you a sweeter deal initially, but expect that price to creep up as they celebrate more birthdays. It's just the circle of life and insurance costs, my friends. Then there's the breed of your pet. Yep, your German Shepherd or your tiny Chihuahua will get different quotes, and it's not just about size. Some breeds are genetically predisposed to certain health conditions. Think about those adorable French bulldogs with their cute smooshed faces. They can often have breathing problems. Or lovely Labradors, who are sometimes prone to hip or elbow dysplasia. Insurers know this, they have the data, and so, certain breeds will naturally come with a higher premium because the risk of claims is just statistically higher. It's not personal, it's just actuarial science. Fun, and it doesn't stop there. Where you live also plays a surprisingly big role. Vet care costs can vary wildly from one city to another, or even between urban and rural areas. If you're in a high cost of living area, chances are your local vet bills are higher too, and the insurance premiums will reflect that. Finally, and this is a biggie, the level of coverage you choose has a direct line to your premium. Want a plan that covers basically everything with a tiny deductible and a massive payout limit? Awesome, but expect to pay more for that Cadillac plan. More coverage almost always equals a higher premium. It's all about balancing protection with your budget. Okay, so you're dutifully paying your premium. You're feeling pretty good, pretty responsible, but then, Fluffy takes a tumble, or Spot eats something he definitely shouldn't have. Now what? This is where the deductible struts onto the stage. The deductible is the amount of money you have to pay out of your own pocket for covered vet care before your insurance company starts chipping in. Think of it as your initial investment in the crisis, your share of the vet bill before the cavalry arrives. So, if your plan has, say, a $250 annual deductible, you're on the hook for that first $250 of eligible vet expenses within that policy year. It's a key number to understand, folks. Now, deductibles aren't a one-size-fits-all deal. They come in a couple of main flavors. The most common is the annual deductible. You meet this amount once per policy year, and then for subsequent covered claims that year, you don't have to pay it again until your policy renews. Easy peasy. But then there's the per-incident deductible, sometimes called per condition. With this type, you'd pay a separate deductible for each new unrelated illness or injury. So if your dog breaks a leg in May and then gets an ear infection in August, you might be paying two separate deductibles. This can be better for pets with rare, one-off issues, but potentially more costly for pets with multiple, unrelated problems cropping up. Once you've conquered that deductible mountain, it's time for the reimbursement percentage to shine. This is the portion of the remaining eligible vet bill that your insurance company will pay back to you. You'll usually see options like 70%, 80%, or maybe even 90%. So if you chose an 80% reimbursement level, the insurance company covers 80% of the costs after your deductible is met, and you cover the remaining 20%. That 20% you still pay? That's often called your copay or co-insurance. It's your ongoing share of the cost, even after meeting the deductible. So higher reimbursement means the insurer pays more, and you pay less per claim, but it usually means a higher premium. Decisions. Let's walk through a quick example because, let's face it, numbers make it real. Imagine your cat, Mittens, racks up a $1,250 vet bill for a covered illness. Your plan has a $250 annual deductible and an 80% reimbursement level. First, you pay the $250 deductible. That leaves $1,000 of the bill. Now the insurance company swoops in and covers 80% of that $1,000, which is $800. You would then be responsible for the remaining 20%, which is $200. So for this $1,250 bill, your total out-of-pocket cost would be your $250 deductible plus your $200 copay, totaling $450. The insurance covers $800, see? Not so scary when you break it down. All right, we've tackled premiums, deductibles, and reimbursements. Feeling like an insurance whiz yet? Hold your horses, because we need to talk about a few more crucial details, the kind often buried in the fine print. First up is the annual limit, or annual maximum. This is the absolute tippy-top maximum amount your insurance company will pay out for all covered vet care within a single policy year. These limits can range quite a bit. You might see options like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, or some plans even offer unlimited annual benefits, which sounds amazing, right? Naturally, plans with higher or unlimited limits usually come with higher premiums. If you hit your annual limit, any further vet costs for that policy year are all on you until your plan renews. Next on our list of things you absolutely need to know are waiting periods. This is a big one, guys. Your pet's insurance coverage doesn't just magically activate the second you sign up and pay. Nope, there's almost always a waiting period. This is a set amount of time after your policy starts, during which certain types of coverage are not yet active. For accidents, the waiting period might be pretty short, maybe just a couple of days, like 24 to 48 hours. But for illnesses, it's often longer, typically around 14 days. And for some specific conditions like cruciate ligament issues, which are pretty common in dogs, or hip dysplasia, the waiting period could be much, much longer. We're talking 6 months or even a year. So you can't just get insurance the day before a scheduled surgery for an old problem. Plan ahead. And now, for the term that causes the most confusion and frankly the most heartbreak, pre-existing conditions. This is mission critical to understand. In nearly all cases, standard pet insurance will not cover any health problems or injuries that your pet showed signs of, was diagnosed with, or was treated for before your policy started, or during those initial waiting periods. So if your dog has been limping for a week before you got insurance, whatever is causing that limp is likely going to be considered pre-existing and won't be covered. Insurers are protecting themselves from covering problems that were already brewing. It's harsh, but it's standard. Now, there can be some nuances here, but don't get your hopes too high. Some very few policies might offer coverage for what they term curable pre-existing conditions, but only after your pet has been completely symptom-free and treatment-free for a specific, often lengthy period, like 180 days or even a full year. This is definitely not the norm, so you need to check the policy wording very carefully. Also, be aware of bilateral conditions. If your pet had an issue in one knee before coverage, like a cruciate tear, many policies will automatically exclude the other knee for the same condition, even if it was perfectly healthy when you signed up. The moral of the story? Read every single word of that policy document, especially the exclusions. Alright, so we've waded through the jargon swamp of how insurance generally works. High five, you're basically an actuary now. But here's the thing, not all pet insurance plans wear the same superhero cape. They come in different styles, offering different levels of protection, kind of like how you've got your basic Batman and then your Iron Man with all the fancy gadgets. First up in our pet insurance fashion show is the accident-only plan. This is pretty much exactly what it sounds like on the tin. It's designed to cover those sudden, unexpected, "oh, you did what now?" moments. Think of it as the financial bubble wrap for your more, shall we say, gravitationally challenged or overly adventurous companions. This is your entry-level protection, the one that says, "I see you, Murphy's Law, and I'm somewhat prepared." So what kind of chaos does an accident-only plan typically cover? We're talking injuries that happen because your pet decided to audition for a stunt double role without telling you. Think broken bones from an overly ambitious leap off the couch, or a nasty gash from a disagreement with the grumpy cat next door. It could also cover things like your dog deciding that your new running shoes looked more like a chew toy and swallowing a piece, leading to an emergency intestinal blockage. Or maybe your curious kitty mistook a bee for a buzzing snack and got a nasty sting. Essentially, if it's a sudden physical injury resulting from an unforeseen event, an accident-only plan is designed to step in and help with those vet bills. It's for the tumbles, the scrapes, the he ate what? Emergencies. Now, the big flashing neon sign here is what these plans don't cover, and it's a pretty significant category. Illnesses. That's right, if your furry friend comes down with a nasty cough, a mysterious skin infection, diabetes, cancer, or any kind of sickness, an accident-only plan will likely just shrug its shoulders and say, "Sorry, not my department." These plans are strictly for the boo-boos and ouchies caused by accidents. They won't help with hereditary conditions that might pop up, or those age-related ailments that can creep in. So while they're often the most budget-friendly option, offering the lowest premiums, that affordability comes with a trade-off in the scope of coverage. You're betting on your pet staying illness-free, which can be a bit of a gamble. So who might find an accident-only plan to be a good fit? Well, if you're on a super tight budget, but still want some kind of financial safety net for catastrophic injuries, this could be a viable starting point. It's often considered for young, generally healthy pets who are perhaps more prone to accidental injuries due to their boundless energy and questionable decision-making skills. Looking at you, puppies and kittens who think they can fly. It could also appeal to someone whose primary concern is a sudden massive bill from an accident, rather than ongoing costs for illnesses. But remember, it's a calculated risk. You're covered for the oops, but not the achu or the more serious long-term sicknesses that can and do happen. Next up, we have the heavyweight champion of pet insurance, the one most people think of when they hear pet insurance, the accident and illness plan. This is the big kahuna, the most popular kit in school, and for good reason. It's designed to be much more comprehensive than its accident-only cousin. Think of it as upgrading from a basic first aid kit to a full-blown mobile medical unit for your pet. These plans offer a much wider safety net, covering not just those clumsy moments and unexpected injuries we just talked about, but also a broad spectrum of illnesses. This is the plan that aims to give you that more complete peace of mind, knowing you're prepared for a much larger range of veterinary curveballs life might throw at your beloved furball. So, what's included in this more robust package? Well, You get all the accident coverage we discussed, the broken bones from daredevil stunts, the cuts, the poisonings if your dog decides the antifreeze in the garage looks like a tasty blue sports drink, but then, crucially, it also covers a whole host of illnesses. We're talking things like infections, ear, skin, urinary tract digestive issues, cancer treatments, diabetes, arthritis, allergies that make your pet an itchy mess, and even hereditary or congenital conditions, provided they weren't pre-existing before you got the policy and past the waiting periods. It's a much broader shield against the slings and arrows of outrageous pet fortune. Let's paint a picture with a couple of scenarios. Imagine your daredevil dog Max misjudges a jump at the park and lands awkwardly, resulting in a torn ACL. An accident and illness plan would typically help cover the diagnosis, the surgery, which can run into thousands of dollars, and the follow-up care. Now let's say your sweet cat Luna starts drinking a ton of water and losing weight. A trip to the vet reveals she has developed diabetes. An accident and illness plan would generally help cover the costs of diagnosis, insulin, ongoing monitoring, and management of her condition. See the difference? It's about covering both the sudden bang and the slower creeping uh-oh of sickness. Naturally, because these plans offer significantly more coverage, they also tend to come with higher premiums than accident-only policies. You're paying for that extra layer of security and the broader range of eligible conditions. Who is this type of plan best for? Honestly, it's the preferred choice for many, if not most, pet owners who want a comprehensive financial backup. If you want to be prepared for the most common and often most expensive health issues your pet might face from puppyhood or kittenhood, all the way through their senior years, an accident and illness plan is usually the way to go. It's especially worth considering if you have a breed known to be prone to certain genetic conditions, as it can be a lifesaver down the road. All right, so we've got accidents covered, we've got illnesses covered, but what about all that routine stuff? You know, the regular vet visits that keep your pet healthy in the first place, rather than just fixing them when they're broken. That's where wellness add-ons, sometimes called preventative care or routine care riders, come into play. Now, it's super important to understand that these are typically part of standard pet insurance policies. Standard insurance is for the unexpected, the curveballs. Wellness plans, on the other hand, are something extra you can often add to your accident and illness policy, usually for an additional monthly fee. Think of it as a budgeting tool for the predictable parts of pet parenthood. So, what kind of everyday heroics do these wellness packages help with? They're designed to help you manage the costs of preventative care, the things you be doing regularly to keep your pet in tip-top shape. This often includes reimbursement for annual checkups or wellness exams, those all-important vaccinations to protect against nasty diseases, routine screening tests like fecal exams or deworming, and often flea, tick, and heartworm prevention. Some more comprehensive wellness add-ons might even contribute towards things like spaying or neutering, dental cleanings, which can be surprisingly pricey, or even microchipping. The specific services covered and the amount of reimbursement will vary quite a bit from insurer to insurer and between different tiers of wellness plans. How do these wellness riders actually work? Unlike traditional insurance that kicks in after a deductible for unexpected events, wellness plans usually operate on a benefit schedule or a set allowance per category per year. For example, your wellness add-on might say it covers up to $50 for vaccinations, $100 for flea, tick, or heartworm prevention, and $150 towards a dental cleaning each policy year. You'd pay your vet for these services as usual, submit the claim, and then the insurer reimburses you up to the specified amount for that category. There's usually no deductible or reimbursement percentage involved for these routine care benefits. It's more of a straightforward allowance system. This helps you spread out those predictable costs over the year. Are wellness add-ons a good deal? Well, that's the million-dollar question, or perhaps the $100 a year question. It really depends on how much you typically spend on preventative care and how the cost of the add-on compares to the benefits you'll actually use. For some folks, especially those with new puppies or kittens who have a lot of initial vet visits for shots and spaying or neutering, a wellness plan can definitely help budget and potentially save some money. For others, if you're a savvy shopper for preventative meds or your pet doesn't need every single service offered, you might find it's more cost-effective to just pay for those routine things out of pocket. You gotta do the math for your specific situation. Let's put theory into practice with some real-life pet and owner scenarios to help you match plans to your needs. Meet Baxter, a wild boxer puppy. His owner, Sarah, should consider accident and illness coverage. Puppies get into everything, and this plan covers both mishaps and common puppy illnesses. Cleo, a senior indoor cat, lives with David, who's on a fixed income. An accident-only plan could be a budget-friendly safety net, but David should know it won't cover age-related illnesses. Penny, the pampered poodle, has an owner, Lisa, who wants maximum coverage and convenience. A robust accident and illness plan, plus a wellness add-on, fits her proactive approach. The right plan depends on your pet's age, breed, lifestyle, and your budget. There's no universal answer, just what's best for you and your furry friend. Take these examples, consider your own situation, and start comparing plans. Now, let's dive into the pet insurance provider showdown. There's no single best company, just the best fit for your pet and budget. We'll compare how customizable each provider's plans are, what unique perks they offer, and give you a general sense of pricing. Look for features like adjustable deductibles, direct vet pay, and wellness add-ons. We'll also touch on customer service, because when your pet's sick, you want a company that's got your back. Remember, your quote will always depend on your pet's details. Ready? Let's get started. First up, Pet's best known for flexibility and customization. You can choose unlimited annual coverage, set your reimbursement rate 70%, 80%, or 90%, and pick a deductible from $50 to $1,000. Their direct vet pay option, where available, means you might not have to pay the full bill up front. Reviews highlight their flexible plans and fast claims processing. Just remember, more customization means you'll need to compare options carefully to find your best value. If you want control over your coverage, Pet's Best is a top contender. Next, Spot. Great for both dogs and cats, with a special focus on feline needs. Spot lets you adjust annual limits, reimbursement rates, and deductibles, so you can tailor your plan. They offer broad accident and illness coverage, plus wellness add-ons for routine care. Cat owners especially praise Spot's understanding of unique feline health needs. Spot is newer, but gets strong reviews for customer service and easy claims. If you want flexibility and have a cat, Spot is worth a look. ASPCA Pet Health Insurance brings a trusted name and a reputation for comprehensive illness coverage. Their plans are flexible with various annual limits, deductibles, and reimbursement options. They're known for a straightforward claims process and timely reimbursements. Coverage often includes behavioral issues if diagnosed by a vet. While not the most tech-forward, their reliability and brand trust are big pluses. If you want a well-established provider with broad coverage, add ASPCA to your shortlist. Let's get cozy with our next contender, Embrace Pet Insurance. If you're looking for a company that seems to genuinely care about the all-around well-being of your pet and offers some really neat features to help manage costs, Embrace might just give you that warm, fuzzy feeling. They are often praised for their flexible wellness plan options and for providing solid coverage for things that can sometimes be a bit tricky, like dental issues. Embrace seems to position themselves as a partner in your pet's health journey, not just a faceless corporation that sends you bills and hopefully reimbursement checks. They aim to be a bit more, well, embracing. One of Embrace's standout strengths is their approach to wellness rewards. While many companies offer wellness add-ons, Embrace's Wellness Rewards Plan is often highlighted for its flexibility. Instead of a strict schedule of benefits for specific services, it often works more like a flexible spending account for routine and preventative care. You choose an annual allowance amount, and you can use it for a wide range of things like checkups, vaccinations, grooming, flea, tick, heartworm meds, training, and even things like dental cleanings or supplements. This gives you a lot more freedom to use the benefits for what your pet actually needs, which is pretty awesome. But the real showstopper, the feature that gets a ton of buzz, is their Healthy Pet Deductible. Get this, for every year you go without receiving an accident or illness claim reimbursement, Embrace reduces your annual deductible by $50. This continues year after year until it potentially reaches zero. How cool is that? It's like a little reward for your pet staying healthy, and for you not having to make a claim. This can lead to significant savings over the life of your policy if your pet generally stays out of trouble. It's a unique perk that really sets them apart and makes you feel like they're on your team, rewarding good luck and good health. Of course, Embrace also offers robust accident and illness plans with various customization options for annual limits, reimbursement percentages up to 90%, and your base annual deductible before the Healthy Pet Deductible kicks in. They also get good marks for their dental illness coverage, which can cover things like gingivitis, root canals, and extractions if they're related to an illness, not just an accident. Customer service reviews are generally positive, with many customers loving the healthy pet deductible and the ease of claims. Price-wise, they are competitive, especially when you factor in the potential deductible savings. If innovative features and flexible wellness appeal to you, definitely give Embrace a hug. I mean, a look! Get ready to meet Figo, the cool tech-savvy kid on the pet insurance block. If you live on your smartphone and appreciate companies that integrate technology to make your life easier, Figo might just be your spirit animal, or spirit insurance provider. They stand out from the pack with some seriously modern features and a bold approach to coverage, including a 100% reimbursement option, which is pretty rare and incredibly appealing if you want to minimize your out-of-pocket costs after the deductible. Figo is all about leveraging technology to provide a seamless experience for the modern pet parent, making insurance feel less like a chore and more like a smart, connected part of your pet care toolkit. The headline act for Figo is undoubtedly their option for 100% reimbursement. Imagine that. After you meet your deductible, Figo could cover the entire eligible vet bill. No copay, no percentage calculations for you to worry about. This can provide incredible peace of mind, especially when facing those heart-stoppingly large vet bills for major surgeries or treatments. They also offer options for unlimited annual benefits, so you don't have to stress about hitting a payout cap. And here's another potential game changer. Figo may cover some pre-existing conditions if they are considered curable, and your pet has been symptom-free and treatment-free for a certain period. This is a very big deal, as most policies flat out exclude all pre-existing conditions, so definitely read their terms very carefully on this one. Beyond those powerful coverage options, Figo really shines with its tech integration. They have a fantastic mobile app called the Figo Pet Cloud. This isn't just for filing claims, though you can do that super easily through the app, often with quick processing times. The Pet Cloud also helps you manage your pet's life. You can store vet records, get vaccination reminders, connect with other pet parents in your area, and even find pet-friendly locations like parks, groomers, and daycares. It's like a social network and personal assistant for your pet, all rolled into one. This focus on a connected experience really appeals to digitally native pet owners. So, what's the scoop on pricing and reviews? Naturally, a plan with 100% reimbursement and unlimited benefits will likely have a higher premium than a plan with lower coverage. However, Figo offers various plans, so you can still find options that might fit a more modest budget if you opt for lower reimbursement or an annual limit. Customer reviews frequently praise the Pet Cloud app, the quick claims processing, and the helpfulness of their customer service team. If you're looking for potentially top-tier coverage with all the modern tech conveniences, and the possibility of coverage for curable pre-existing conditions piques your interest, Figo is absolutely a provider you need to investigate thoroughly. Last but certainly not least in our provider parade is Lemonade. If you're looking for pet insurance that feels fresh, modern, and super straightforward, Lemonade might be just the refreshing sip you need. They're known for leveraging artificial intelligence and a user-friendly app to make the whole insurance experience faster and, dare I say, almost enjoyable. Lemonade aims to cut through the usual insurance rigmarole, offering affordable rates especially for younger pets, and a claims process that can be lightning fast. They're definitely shaking up the traditional insurance model, appealing to a new generation of pet parents who value simplicity, speed, and social responsibility. One of Lemonade's biggest selling points is its affordability and speed. They often come in with some of the lowest premiums, particularly if your dog or cat is young and healthy. Their whole process, from getting a quote to filing a claim, is designed to be done quickly and easily through their mobile app. And when they say fast claims, they mean it. Thanks to their AI, some claims can reportedly be processed and paid in minutes, not days or weeks. That's a massive plus when you've just shelled out for a vet visit and want to get reimbursed as soon as possible. They offer accident and illness coverage, as well as optional wellness packages to help with routine care costs. Another unique aspect of Lemonade is their social impact model. They operate as a B Corp, and part of their business model involves their Give Back program. When you sign up, you choose a charity you care about from their list. Then, Lemonade takes a flat fee from your premium to run their business, and if there's money left over from the collective pool of premiums after claims and expenses are paid, they donate that surplus to those chosen charities. This resonates with a lot of consumers who like the idea that their purchase is also contributing to a good cause. It adds a feel-good factor to an otherwise very practical purchase. Now, a crucial thing to note with Lemonade is state availability. They're expanding rapidly, but they might not be available in every single state just yet. So your first step is to check if they even offer coverage where you live. Also, as a newer player heavily reliant on AI, while many experience super fast claims, there can occasionally be situations where a more complex claim might need human review, which could slow things down. Customer reviews often rave about the ease of use, the low prices, and the quick payouts. If you're in an area they serve, you have a younger pet, and you value a simple, fast, tech-driven experience with a side of social good, Lemonade is definitely worth squeezing into your comparison list. All right, insure-savvy crew, you've soaked up a ton of info, and now your brain is probably buzzing like a bee in a flower shop. We've talked terms, types, and top providers, but how do you actually take all this golden knowledge and turn it into the pet insurance plan for specific, one-of-a-kind furball? It's not about waving a magic wand or consulting a crystal ball, thankfully. It's about having a solid strategy, a checklist, if you will, to guide you through the decision-making maze. This is your roadmap to picking a plan that you won't regret later. The one that makes you nod sagely and say, "Yep, nailed it," when life throws a veterinary curveball. Because let's be real, avoiding that future, why didn't I think of that? Facepalm moment is a major win in itself. First up on your Operation Awesome Pet Plan checklist, Step 1, know thy pet inside and out. I mean, you obviously your pet, their favorite napping spot, their weirdest quirk, the exact sound of their feed me, now meow or bark. But for insurance, we gotta go deeper, like a vet tech searching for that swallowed sock. Think about their breed. Is your adorable dachshund prone to back issues? Does your majestic Maine Coon have a higher risk of heart conditions? Knowing these breed-specific predispositions isn't about being a Debbie Downer. It's about being a smart, prepared pet parent. And what about their age and current health? A young, spry kitten has different potential needs than a distinguished senior dog who's starting to slow down a bit. Document everything. It's your pet's personal risk profile. Next, let's talk moolah. Step 2, the brutally honest budget hour. This isn't just about figuring out if you can swing the monthly premium, though that's definitely part of it. You need to have a real heart-to-heart with your bank account. How much can you afford for that premium each month without eating ramen for every meal? Then critically, think about the out-of-pocket costs. If your pet needs emergency surgery tomorrow costing thousands, can you realistically cover your chosen deductible without breaking a sweat? What about your share of the bill, that reimbursement percentage? If it's 80%, you're still on the hook for 20% of a potentially massive bill. Imagine that worst-case scenario cost and be honest about how that would impact your emergency fund and overall financial well-being. With your pet's profile and your budget boundaries clearly defined, it's time for Step 3. Become a core coverage crusader. This is where you decide on the fundamental of plan that makes sense for your situation. Are you leaning towards an accident-only plan? If so, be brutally honest about why. Is it purely a budget constraint? And are you fully aware of the significant risk you're taking by not covering illnesses, which are often the more frequent and costly issues over a pet's lifetime? Or are you looking at an accident and illness plan? For most pet parents seeking genuine peace of mind, this is usually the baseline. This decision is the foundation of your insurance strategy. So make sure it's solid before you even start looking at specific company names or shiny brochures. Okay, checklist champions, you've assessed your pet, your wallet, and your core coverage needs. Now for the action phase. Step 4, embark on the great quote quest. I cannot stress this enough. Get multiple quotes. Do not, I repeat, do just look at the first company that pops up on Google and call it a day. That's like picking your life partner based on their dating app profile picture alone. Risky business. You need to see what different insurers offer for your pet. Use online comparison tools, visit individual provider websites, and create a little spreadsheet. Don't just compare the premium price. Look at the deductible, the reimbursement percentage, the annual limit, and crucially, what they list as covered or, even more importantly, covered side by side. This is where you'll start to see the real differences emerge. Now for the part that everyone loves to hate, but is absolutely non-negotiably critical. Step 5, activate fine print detective mode. Yes, it's about as exciting as watching paint dry, but I promise you, this is where you can save yourself a world of future headaches and heartaches. You read the full policy terms and conditions before you sign anything. Pay super close attention to the exclusions. What specific conditions, treatments, or situations will they absolutely not cover? Scrutinize those waiting periods, especially for things like cruciate ligament injuries or hip dysplasia. as these can be surprisingly long, sometimes 6 months or even a year. And get crystal clear on their definition of a pre-existing condition. Does it mean diagnosed or just showing symptoms? The more you understand now, the fewer nasty surprises later. Once you've narrowed down your options based on coverage and cost, it's time for step 6. Conduct some serious reputation recon. What are actual, real-life customers saying about the companies you're considering? Dive into online reviews, check out ratings on the Better Business Bureau, and maybe even peek at social media comments. Now, take individual rants or raves with a grain of salt. There are always outliers. What you're looking for are patterns. Are there consistent complaints about slow claim processing, unfair denials, or terrible customer service? Or, conversely, do you see a steady stream of praise for quick payouts and helpful support? This due diligence can give you a much better sense of what your experience might actually be like when you need them most. Finally, my friends, some parting wisdom. After all the research, the comparing, the fine print decoding, remember this: the best pet insurance plan is deeply personal. It's the one that fits your pet's unique needs, your budget's reality, and your own comfort level with risk. The ultimate goal here isn't just to have policy, it's to have peace of mind. It's knowing that if the unexpected happens, you've made an informed, thoughtful choice that allows you to focus on your furry family member's health, not just the looming cost. Trust your research, trust your gut, after you've fed it lots of facts, and choose the plan that lets you sleep soundly, knowing you've done right by your best friend. Well, look at you. You made it through the entire pet insurance obstacle course, and guess what? You didn't just survive, you totally aced it. Picking pet insurance might have seemed like trying to decipher ancient alien code at the start of all this, a truly daunting mountain of jargon and confusing clauses. But hopefully, after our little chat today, that mountain looks more like a manageable molehill, or at least a hill you've got the right climbing gear for. It's still a pretty significant decision, no doubt about that, but it doesn't have to be a wild guess made with your eyes squeezed shut and fingers crossed. You've officially graduated from Pet Insurance 101 with flying colors, moving from potentially mystified to certifiably savvy. The fog has indeed lifted, and clarity, my friends, is a beautiful thing. The absolute cornerstone of your newfound expertise is understanding those core terms, right? Words like premium, deductible, reimbursement percentage, and annual limit aren't just fancy insurance speak anymore. They're the very levers you can pull to customize a plan that truly works for you. Knowing what these mean and how they interact is like having the secret decoder ring to unlock the true cost and value of any policy. You can now look past the flashy marketing and see the nuts and bolts of what's being offered. This foundational knowledge is what separates a confident, informed choice from a shot in the dark, ensuring you're not caught off guard by how your coverage actually functions when you need it most. It's your shield against confusion. And then there's the crucial step of figuring out which type of plan actually makes sense for your furry sidekick and your unique situation. Remember our chat about accident-only plans being the basic safety net, mostly for those oops, he ate the remote moments? Then we have the more comprehensive accident and illness plans, the real MVPs for covering a broader spectrum of health hiccups. And let's not forget those handy wellness add-ons for budgeting routine care. It's not about grabbing the plan with the most bells and whistles or even the cheapest one. It's about making a strategic choice that aligns perfectly with your pet's age, breed, lifestyle, and your own financial comfort zone. Getting this right means you're not paying for coverage you don't need, or worse, missing coverage you desperately wish you had. Finally, we talked about the action plan, the critical importance of rolling up your sleeves and doing your homework. This means getting multiple personalized quotes from different providers. Seriously, don't skip this part. It's like comparison shopping for anything else important. And then the big one, diving deep into that fine print, especially those sections on exclusions, waiting periods, and the ever so tricky pre-existing conditions. Knowing what a policy doesn't cover is just as important, if not more so, than knowing what it does. This due diligence is your ultimate superpower in finding a plan that offers genuine value and won't leave you feeling let down when you file a claim. You're now armed and ready for this vital detective work. So, after all that deep diving into the world of pet insurance, what's the real takeaway? It's this. The best pet insurance isn't just about a piece of paper or a policy number. It's about securing a robust financial backup, a sturdy shield against those unexpected and often gut-wrenchingly expensive veterinary bills that can pop up when you least expect them. We all know that our furry companions are masters of surprise, sometimes in adorable ways, and sometimes in ways that involve an emergency trip to the vet at 3 a.m. Having a good insurance plan in place means those moments of panic can be focused on your pet's well-being, not solely on the rapidly escalating cost of their care. That's a huge weight lifted. Ultimately, this whole endeavor is about giving you precious peace of mind. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're prepared, that you've made a smart decision to protect not just your finances, but also your ability to provide the best possible care for your beloved animal. It's about ensuring that your furry family member, the one who greets you with unconditional love and sloppy kisses, can get the treatments they need when they need them, without you having to make an impossible choice between their health and your bank account. That kind of reassurance is, quite frankly, priceless. It lets you enjoy all the wonderful, goofy, and loving moments with your pet, with one less major worry hanging over your head. Now, it's your turn to share. What are your experiences with pet insurance? Do you have a provider you absolutely rave about, or maybe one that left you feeling a bit like you'd wrestled a grumpy badger? Perhaps you have a burning question that I didn't quite get to in our chat today. Please, drop all your thoughts, your wisdom, your queries, and your epic pet tales in the comments section below. Let's create a community here on Insure Savvy where we can all help each other navigate this sometimes tricky landscape. Sharing is caring, especially when it comes to our four-legged family members and keeping them happy and healthy. Your insight could be just what someone else needs to hear. And hey, if this little journey through the ins and outs of pet insurance helped clear things up for you, if you're feeling even a tiny bit more confident about tackling this topic, would you do me a huge favor and give this video a big thumbs up? It really helps the channel reach more pet parents just like you. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more helpful tips, tricks, and deep dives designed to make pet parenthood a little less confusing and a lot more awesome. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and here's to happy, healthy pets and well-protected wallets.